The third key money principle is called living benefits. The purpose, the goal of living benefits is to give you access to a big pile of money so that you never miss a beat financially. Let me give you an example of how it works. Let's say you're going through life and that's your income, and you're going through life and that's your expenses. By the way, keep your income above your expenses. Do me a favor and think of somebody you know that's maybe had a negative life event, like a heart attack. They were going through life and they had a heart attack. Brother, sister, cousin, aunt, somebody on Facebook, a school teacher. Think of somebody who's had a negative life event like a stroke. How about cancer? Those are the big three. Think about the person you know that event has happened to. For most people in America, when that event showed up, their income went down. For most people in America, their expenses went up, and where these two pieces cross, 62% of Americans end up in bankruptcy, and it's medical bill related. Health insurance paid the doctor, but what didn't it pay? Rent, mortgage, car, debt, college, food, your income. It didn't replace your spouse's income. It didn't even pay Netflix. I mean, if you have a negative life event, aren't you going to stay home and binge watch Dexter or Game of Thrones or Blacklist? Yeah. So what do? We reach into our savings to pay Netflix. We reach into our 401k, our IRA. We pull it out of our house. We pull it from our business. We call mom and dad, help! We move out of our house and we move in with mom and dad. That's why our parents moved to Florida, no basements for us to move into. That's why kids move to Arizona, no basements for the parents to move into. Here's what Living Benefits very simply does. Living Benefits is access to a big pile of money. When this negative life event shows up, Living Benefits gives you access to a big pile of money so that your money coming in stays above your rising expenses. Living Benefits' goal is to replace 100% of all the money you need to pay for every expense in your household for you, your wife, your spouse, replaces your income so you never miss a beat financially. I want to use life insurance as the example tonight. Does anybody out there have any life insurance? Think about why you have it. No. Think about who it's for. It's not for us, is it? It's for them. It's for my wife. The purpose of my life insurance is if something happens to me, I leave 10 years of my income to my wife. I pay off the house. I pay off the cars, our debts. I put $100,000 in an account for each of the kids to go to college. And then I put $50,000 in an account for my wife to bury me and take her new husband on an amazing vacation. And it's not for her, it's for him. Mighty big shoes to fill. But I have to do something for her to get the life insurance, don't I? I gotta die. It should really be called death insurance. You know, they tried marketing it like that and nobody would buy it, so they called it life insurance. Here's what Living Benefits does very simply. 20 years ago, two of our companies figured this idea out. If we're going to pay you because you died, let's pay you because you lived through an event that you could have died from. What Living Benefits very simply does is it looks at yours and my term life insurance and it gives us access to 75% of that money. Three main ways it pays. The first way is a terminal illness. 20 years ago, we had a single mom. She had 2 little girls, no husband in the picture, no parents alive, and she gets cancer. She's the everything mom for these 2 little girls, and her doctor try everything for 2 years to beat cancer and nothing works. At the end of the 2-year mark, he calls her in the office, says, "This is the worst day of my life. I gotta tell you that you're terminal." She freaked out on him. She said, "Wait, stop. I did some research. What about this experimental surgery?" And the doctor said, health insurance doesn't pay for experimental surgery. She drives home, calls her life insurance guy, tells him the story. He says, stop. You have living benefits. They submit a claim to life insurance company. They get a check back for $100,000. They pay for the experimental surgery, and today, 20 years later, she's still alive. I was having this conversation with Richard, and I said, Richard, imagine if you had met me 10 or 12 years ago and you had living benefits. Imagine if we could have given you a big, giant check of money so you didn't miss a beat financially when you went through your negative life event. The second way it pays is a critical illness. A critical illness is a heart attack, stroke, cancer, cognitive impairment, like you're doing hot yoga, you hit your head and now you're cuckoo, loco laca besa. ALS, blindness, lose a limb, lose an organ, third-degree burns, a coma. It triggers the critical illness. 3 years ago, we have an agent, Nicole, in Southern California, and she has a client come to the workshop and says, I want that $1 million baby for my daughter. So they get together, they set up the account, college savings, and Nicole asks this question, hey, do you have life insurance? Yes. They do a comparison of death-only life insurance to living benefit life insurance. Same price. She gets living benefits life insurance. Doesn't think anything of it. That was 3 years ago. 1 year ago, she calls Nicole. Nicole, I got diagnosed with cancer. Most people don't live through this cancer. They take the diagnosis from the doctor, they send it to the life insurance company. Life insurance company sends her a letter back and says, you can have 300 of your $400,000 life insurance policy. She stops working. She doesn't miss a beat financially. Naturopathic care. Goes out of the country to see her parents with her daughter. Spends time with her daughter. Takes that money. Starts her passion career, which is a John Maxwell speaker. Her living benefits made it so she didn't miss a beat financially. The third way it pays is a chronic illness. In Colorado, people put up Christmas lights in the wintertime. Here's what a chronic illness is. That guy goes out and puts up Christmas lights on the second story of his house before Christmas. And then after the holidays, he goes up there in February. He's taking lights off. He slips on the roof of the ice, falls to the ground, breaks his back. He's in a wheelchair, can't feed himself. That's 2 of 6 activities of daily living. That's a chronic illness. Triggers the chronic illness, and living benefits pays him every month for 50 months, replaces all of his and his wife's income so he doesn't miss a beat financially. The last way living benefits pays is if you die. Here's what we know statistically. Right now in America, you and I are 8 times more likely to have one of these events before we have one of those events. We also know this. Of all the people in the United States that have life insurance, only 10% have living benefits life insurance. That means 90% of the population out there has the old death-only kind, and they could have living benefits life insurance for virtually the same price as their life insurance. Five Rings Financial, we made a choice to be a living benefits company. It's our mission, it's our goal, it's our charge to teach everybody that living benefits life insurance exists. I want to invite you to come back to this class. We do this workshop. We do it over 100 times a month as a live event in conference rooms, dinner classes, clubhouses, conference rooms, small businesses, big businesses all over the United States. We also teach this class at least twice a week, just like this, as a virtual event. What happened is a guy like Richard, 3 years ago, said, hey, I'm here in Colorado, but I know some people in another state. How do I share this information? So we got smart enough and we started teaching the classes an online live webinar, just like tonight. We do a class just like this at least 12 times a month. Absolutely every Thursday at this time, which is 5:30 Colorado, 7:30 East Coast. But we move the class around. We do one on a Saturday and a Sunday and a Monday, a Tuesday, to give people a chance to attend on other times. I want to invite you back. Number one, maybe you know somebody that is worried about losing money in their savings. Maybe you know somebody that freaked out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when the market did that little 6% nosedive. Maybe you know somebody that just doesn't ever want to lose their savings again like my dad. Let them know that our class exists. Pay it forward. Be someone's hero. Imagine if you had found our class, or somebody you know that lost money in '08 had found this class in 2007 because you invited them. Do you realize that if they had found our class, moved their money, and they lost zero in 2008, that you would be their hero? They would have put a picture of you on the mantle in the living room because they were so excited that you protected their money. They probably would have named a cat or a dog or a hamster after you, at least. Maybe you know somebody who's had a baby in the last 10 years. I invite you to invite them back to the class to learn that the best college saving plan out there exists. Or you know a business owner that wants to grow money and access it later. Or somebody who has to take money out of their 401k and they don't need it so they can keep growing it. Invite them back. Be someone's hero. Maybe you know somebody. You got a brother, a cousin, an aunt, a mom, a dad, a sister. And if they have a negative life event, heart attack, stroke, cancer being the big three, you don't want them to move in with you. And you want them to have living benefits so that they have enough money. I'm just being cute. But really, imagine the person that you know that you thought about earlier that had that negative life event. Imagine if you had invited them to this class and they found out that living benefits exist.